Have you ever had a difficult relationship at work?
I think a lot of people could say yes. Let me ask you. We work together. Have you ever had a difficult relationship at work, Ashley?
You are an amazing co-owner. I appreciate you
I'm good to work with?
most of the time.
Most of the time. Most of the time. Yeah, but work relationships can be difficult.
Yeah.
Because you're at work a lot.
Yeah.
If you have a full-time job, those are people who you spend a lot of time with, and the quality of those relationships have a direct impact on the quality of your work and the quality of your job satisfaction, how high your job satisfaction is.
Yeah. Okay, so I have another question.
Okay.
Have you ever considered leaving a job because of a relationship at work?
I think a lot of people probably have, right?
Well, and there's some research that says about 50% of people who leave because of someone at the organization.
Yeah.
But we know it's true that we've stayed for relationships. You know, whenever
That's
you
true.
have someone you really connect with, you don't want to be away from them. Those types of things can make a big impact. So we developed a series called Why People Leave. And you're able to purchase it if you're interested. But we're going to go ahead and give you some of the beef content, the meat from that series, because we really want to help people. And so the theory is called switch theory.
Yeah.
And we are going to unpack the thinking processes that occur before people leave, basically. And so in any relationship, but typically when you start a new job, we tend to be optimistic.
Yeah, you're hopeful. You're in that new job, and the relationships seem like, okay, hopefully I can get along here. I can do these things. We're going to make a difference. It's going to be positive. You start off in that way. Yeah.
Yeah, we have the expectation that the job is going to be good. It's going to pay what they agreed to pay me. I'm going to have to work the number of hours that they've asked me to. We've had this communication. And then what can happen is the expectations go unmet, and we move from this positive space to a negative space. And this is switch theory, right? Switch theory is this movement from a positive space to a negative space.
That's the switch.
And then hopefully back to a positive space again, right? So we're moving back and forth in those relationships. So in the context of work, we can switch, but a lot of people, once they get into this negative space, they either start complaining, start feeling unhappy, they stop communicating. They'll gossip, all of these different things that end up making work hard for them and work hard for others.
It's really destructive.
Yeah.
And when you do the work to switch back to a positive place when you get negative, man, you're not just helping you, you're helping your coworkers.
For sure.
Because I was kidding around at the beginning as like sometimes maybe if you've had a hard time with me or I've had a hard time with you, we have a big impact on each other. So if I'm going to do the work to get back to a positive place, that has a direct impact on how much you like working with me.
For sure.
Which is your job satisfaction. We're really connected.
And you can help me get to a positive space as
That's
well.
a good point.
Right?
That's a good point, yeah.
And there's been times that we've stopped and prayed and it's helped, right? So there's a lot of different things. Okay, we need to regroup, think differently.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of different things we can do to get back into a positive space. But let's just spend a moment talking about our behavior and the way that we act when we're in a positive space. So let's say you've got a coworker. They come to work late, and at first, you think something's wrong. Maybe they've had a car accident or they have something, and you're like, oh, I'm glad they're okay. You're in a positive space. So the reaction that you have is different. You might ask, are you okay? You might not say anything about it, but you're going to speak or you're not going to speak.
Your empathy is probably a little bit higher too. Like you just said, how are they doing? That's how you that's the filter you looked through.
Yeah.
That's
so
good.
then as time progresses and this becomes habitual, you start to make these associations that that's this person's character. It wasn't just a one-time thing. And then we might start to move into a negative space.
That's good.
Especially as it impacts us personally. If we end up thinking they disrespect me, they don't care, or they're dumping on me, they're letting all of the things fall on my plate.
That's what I thought of. As soon as somebody starts not doing what they're supposed to be doing, you're assuming you're going to have to pick up the slack.
Yeah.
Man.
And it can be difficult. So in that same situation, we might then start to say, am I going to say something or am I not going to say something? We might ask other people their opinion, where we end up kind of getting into this gossip session. Like, have you noticed that they're late? Oh, no, they've been late. You know?
It's not genuine concern. It's seeing if you have other people who agree with you that other person isn't doing what they're supposed to be doing.
And so we can complain, we can isolate people, stonewall, not invite them to lunch or to do things, talk loudly about events that you did together with other people just to isolate.
Passive aggressive.
Yeah.
Leave them out of the email that it would have been beneficial for them to be on.
Yeah.
There's lots of things like that happen, right?
For sure, work projects will be less successful. But again, In all of our relationships, our goal is to be in a positive space.
Sure.
So what we'll do, we'll be in this positive space, give them kind of some slack at first, and then we're like, oh, no, it's their character. We might move to this negative space, and then we're stuck. If I can avoid them, I may not care that much to be in this negative space with this one person. But eventually, if we're going to have to work with them, we want to get back to this positive space.
Yeah.
Or we really start looking into another job, and then we call this the leaving cycle. If we go positive space, negative space. We want to get back to a positive space. We'll go out that door and go somewhere where we can be in a positive space.
Don't you think that so many times people don't think it's possible to get back into a positive space and their only option is leaving?
Yeah.
That happens a lot, don't you think?
Yeah, I think we often feel hopeless, but this is
That's a big thing.
Why we've got to get back to the positive space, because in the positive space, it doesn't mean that everything's always going our way.
Okay, yeah.
It just means that we have hope for the future. We have optimism. We can look down the road and think, I can see it getting better. And research actually shows that people who are optimistic tend to stay longer. Mm-hmm. There is some research that says that some people stay too long, and we're still researching some of that, kind of debating. Of course, there's been people who've stayed in marriages that have been abusive, and they just are, kind of, they don't learn and try to take care of themselves. Obviously, if you're in a physically, emotionally abusive relationship, it is important to take care of yourself and don't put up with that.
And be safe, yeah.
Yeah. And same thing at work. If someone is sexually harassing you or these different things, you need to take care of it and not put up with it. But if we're in this positive space, we're not saying that behavior is okay. We're saying I can do something about it. It can be better in the future.
You're being assertive and being hopeful. And those things are kind of connected, aren't they? You're hopeful, so you're going to be pushing for something. You're going to be assertive to say, this is what I want, this is what I need, and not just complaining about it. Because you complain, you're building this dialogue in your head.
Yeah.
And you have this job in your head, this coworker, this partner in your head, and then that person that you've created is negative and you want to leave that person. That happens pretty quick.
And something that you say a lot of times is complaining isn't the same thing as asking for what you want.
No, it's not.
So us learning about our communication, what do I need and how am I asking for that, is going to make a big impact on whether or not we feel positively or negatively about our relationships at work, at home, wherever we are.
Yeah, that's really good. So that was a snapshot of some of the application for switch theory, which is in why people leave. And you can get that and get the full course. There's video sessions, a guide that guides you through how to apply this to your situation at elliotlifecoaching.com. Check that out. We'd love to talk to you more about it.